US President Donald Trump has asked for the release of court documents relating to notorious sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. It comes as Donald Trump threatened to sue media tycoon Rupert Murdoch after the Wall Street Journal reported allegations that President Trump's name appeared on a bawdy 2003 birthday card to Epstein. The US President says the story is false, malicious and defamatory.
Just when Donald Trump hoped he had damped down controversy over the Epstein files, along comes the Wall Street Journal with another claim that links the convicted paedophile with the President of the United States. Back in the 90s, Trump and Epstein, seen here at Mar-a-Lago, were friends but had a big falling out before details of Epstein's sex crimes became known. Today, the second most widely circulated newspaper in the US published details of a letter allegedly written by the president in 2003 that formed part of a leather-bound collection of birthday notes compiled for Epstein's 50th celebration by his long-term associate Ghislaine Maxwell. The journal describes a typewritten note pasted inside a hand-drawn figure of a naked woman and bearing the signature Donald. The president, who was asked for his comments on Tuesday, has reacted furiously, denouncing the story as a fabrication, saying he doesn't draw things on notes. He took to social media to say the letter was a fake, and he threatened to sue the Wall Street Journal and its owner, the media mogul Rupert Murdoch, who also owns Fox News. His vice president, J.D. Vance, also weighed in with support for the president. Later, the president posted that he wanted his Attorney General to see if she could release any more material from the 2019 case against Epstein. Pam Bondi, seen here visiting Alcatraz prison, which the president wants to reopen, said she would seek court permission to publish some of the evidence put to a grand jury in New York ahead of Epstein's charging for sex trafficking. Some have suggested he appoint a special prosecutor to deal with the matter.
Well, the idea was floated from someone in the media to the president. The president would not recommend a special prosecutor in the Epstein case. That's how he feels. And as for his discussions with the Attorney General, I'm not sure.
But even if all of this happens, will it be enough to quell a rising storm over a story and a conspiracy theory that refuses to go away? Sean Whelan, RTE News, Washington.
Let's return now to the US, where President Donald Trump has asked for the release of court documents relating to notorious sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Associate editor of The Washington Post, Mary Jordan, joins us now for more on all of this. Mary, has he effectively rolled over on this, given the enormous pressure that he's come under by seeking the release of these court documents? Or is this the equivalent of throwing a bone, because we're not dealing with the entire Epstein files here, are we?
Not at all. And even his supporters, I think what's different about this story, which is what everyone is talking about this summer, it is growing by the day. And many people, even his supporters, are upset with how Donald Trump is handling this. Why, they wonder, is he he's not releasing the whole files. He's saying that some of the grand jury testimony that the court approves, that's, quote, pertinent, can be released. But he fired the prosecutor who had the institutional knowledge, who knows what's on all the FBI tapes that no one's ever seen, and who's been working this case for years. He fired her this week. People have said, why not appoint a special commission, a special prosecutor? He said no. So it's it's in motion, and you don't always see a case like this where you have a convicted sex offender who died in a suspicious circumstances in jail, connected so closely to the President of the United States.
And explain why, as you say, the story is growing by the day, why his MAGA base, not just his MAGA base, but senior Republicans too, are so exercised, so convulsed by this story, and that they're just not buying into this Department of Justice review that there's no list, nothing to be seen here.
Part of it is that there were a lot of young girls that were sexually abused. So there was wrongdoing here. And during the last campaign, when there was a Democratic president, Joe Biden, in office, Donald Trump and many of his supporters were criticizing the Biden Biden administration saying, release the files. Now, these very people who were begging, demanding, claiming a conspiracy, saying a cover-up, say, you know what? We're not going to release the files. So now that Trump is in office, some of the people who, were his supporters are a little concerned about, well, wait a minute. Why isn't Donald Trump want to release this? Is he hiding something? There are plenty of photos out there that we know that for many years in the 1980s and 1990s, Jeffrey Epstein, who was the ringleader and the convicted sex offender, was a very good friend of Donald Trump. I mean, Donald Trump has said so. He's on the record saying that. But later, when he learned that it went public about all that was going on, about a private island and jets and very, very rich people, some of whom Donald Trump knows were going down to this island with these young girls, all of a sudden Donald Trump was saying, I didn't really know him that well. I never thought he was a good guy. So there's a lot of questions here, and you can just see how flummoxed Donald Trump seems. There's a lot of big things going on. They're pulling foreign aid. They're pulling health insurance here for people in America. And this is the story that people are talking about. It's so graphic, and it is kind of snowballing every day.
Right. Mary Jordan of The Washington Post, thank you.